Everyone around you is gonna have a hard time because you're like trying to fit this square piece.
We have not even seen his text messages yet. Like, this is just what we've been able to discern from Deadpool skits. It ends with us skits.
Sexuals, get ready for your superhero. Gay news, this is huge. Marvel Studios is about to get a whole lot gayer because Ryan Reynolds is begging.
And on a side note, I worked in Los Angeles for years and spent a lot of time in West Hollywood doing jobs. Gay guys are great.
I guess his wife was hunting him. He just looked into it peripherally and was ready to enter a verdict. So
appeal as a charming, relatable, and progressive Hollywood figure.
So Ryan Gosling wins an award, and as a bit, Ryan Reynolds, Andrew Garfield. That's fun.
From the outside, it looked like another typical Hollywood bromance. Charming, charismatic Ryan Reynolds and stoic, endlessly likable Hugh Jackman. Two A-listers bantering online, showing up in quirky sketches, playfully ribbing each other across press junkets. Fans loved it. The internet ran wild with memes, GIFs, and fan-made videos capturing every smirk, every tease, every suspiciously affectionate exchange. But like most things in Tinseltown, the picture-perfect surface hid something far messier underneath. It started with whispers, as these things always do. Ryan was caught in a storm, one involving lawsuits, directors, accusations, and behind it all, secrets that refused to stay buried. The cracks began to show not in a press release or formal statement, but in something far more damning. Text messages. Leaked. Raw. Unfiltered. And the one holding the match, ready to ignite everything? Hugh Jackman. Ryan's supposed best friend, his partner in countless PR stunts, had reportedly taken matters into his own hands. While Ryan was fighting to protect his brand, his marriage, and his multi-million-dollar projects, Jackman was allegedly slipping evidence to media firebrands like Candace Owens. Not just tips. Entire conversations. Words that weren't meant to see daylight. Why? That question echoed through studio lots and late-night talk show green rooms. Was Jackman protecting himself? Was he tired of being the sidekick in someone else's public theater? Or had something deeper snapped after years of putting up with Ryan's relentless need for control? Of narratives, friendships, and most damning of all, identity?
They don't say that. And as soon as you look at him in that light, you're like, yeah.
Let's listen to what this TikToker had to say. His handle, by the way, in case you want to follow him, is Put the Dog on.
Candace Owens took the material and ran. The messages, she said, weren't just flippant jabs or sarcastic inside jokes. They carried an unsettling subtext. A closeted identity struggling to stay hidden under layers of sarcasm, overcompensation, and carefully curated performances. She pointed out how Reynolds's jokes, particularly the gay ones, weren't really jokes at all. They were perhaps rehearsals for a truth he hadn't yet admitted. "He's gay," read one of the messages. And it wasn't someone else saying it about Reynolds. It was Ryan himself. It didn't come across like a punchline. It read like something someone might text when their mask slips, even if only for a moment. "Straight guys don't say that," Owens emphasized. "Not even as a joke." That's when things spiraled. Ryan's legal troubles weren't just about leaked texts. They were rooted in a storm that had been brewing since the start of It Ends With Us, a film project Ryan was heavily involved in. It had begun as a bold adaptation of a best-selling novel, but instead of acclaim, it attracted controversy, and eventually a lawsuit. Director Justin Baldoni filed suit, accusing Reynolds of defamation, extortion, and interference with contractual relationships. Allegedly, Ryan had referred to Baldoni as a predator multiple times, once during a Deadpool promotional event, and again at a gathering that involved multiple industry reps. Ryan's defense? He believed it was true. That belief, he argued, justified his statements. The court didn't quite see it that way. And while Reynolds's legal team pushed for dismissal based on free speech, critics and analysts tore the strategy apart. Belief doesn't grant you immunity from defamation. Intent mattered. Malice mattered. And more importantly, truth mattered. Meanwhile, Hugh Jackman was being pulled into the case, first as an innocent bystander, then as a deposition witness, and eventually as someone deeply entwined in the chaos. He had appeared in the now infamous It Ends With Us promo skit, an awkward, tone-deaf attempt at humor that had nothing to do with the film's core themes of domestic violence. It was Ryan's idea. Hugh, loyal as ever, had played along. But maybe that was the last straw. Jackman, already navigating the quiet heartbreak of a 27-year marriage ending, found himself surrounded by rumors. About the divorce. About his sexuality. About why, after all these years, he had never shaken those persistent whispers that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't living entirely truthfully either. In the weeks that followed, the narrative spun wildly out of control. Speculation about a possible romantic relationship between Jackman and Reynolds wasn't new.
I love gay guys. There's also bad ones because they're just normal people. I have zero There's nothing wrong with being.
We have not even seen his text messages yet. Like, this is just what we've been able to discern from Deadpool skits. It ends with us skits.
But this time, it wasn't fanfiction. It was framed as motive. Evidence. Suddenly, Jackman's decades-long career as the gruff, gritty Wolverine came under scrutiny. People questioned his choices, his roles, and his personal life. He had started dating Sutton Foster, a younger co-star from his Broadway work. A new love interest, conveniently timed. Owens labeled it classic PR damage control. She argued that Jackman's team carefully constructed this relationship to squash rumors. A classic Hollywood beard. A strategy employed when image is everything. Meanwhile, Blake Lively was fighting her own war. She and Ryan, once the envy of celebrity couples everywhere, were allegedly living apart. The legal stress, the media chaos, and the constant pressure had driven a wedge between them. Her lawyers filed for an AEO designation, attorney's eyes only, hoping to protect certain documents from public scrutiny. They claimed some of the files could end careers. That raised eyebrows. What kind of information could be so toxic, so destructive, that it needed to be hidden from everyone except a small circle of lawyers? The judge wasn't convinced. He ruled that AEO designations must be narrowly applied and justified. That meant some documents would come out. The secrets wouldn't stay secret forever. Back in the court of public opinion, things grew uglier. TikTokers dissected every leaked message, every video clip, every red carpet photo. They pointed out patterns, phrases Reynolds used, the way he interacted with male co-stars, the awkward kisses at award shows that no longer seemed like innocent jokes. There was the Garfield kiss. The Warburton kiss. The lingering stares. The bits he wrote himself, always including subtle or not so subtle nods to homosexuality. Was it all just performance? Or was it Ryan's way of easing into a truth he wasn't ready to say out loud? Owens called it a calculated ambiguity. A method of staying palatable to everyone. Progressives, conservatives, LGBTQ fans, studio execs. He's building a version of himself, she said. And when that version cracks, it's not just a scandal, it's an identity crisis. For Reynolds, the persona he built, a witty, lovable rogue who could charm anyone, was beginning to dissolve. The text showed a man wrestling with internal conflict. The lawsuit showed a man using power to get his way. The performances, once seen as harmless, now seemed like signals. And through it all, Hugh Jackman stood in the background, watching it burn. Some say he lit the match. Others say he just refused to put the fire out. Maybe he was tired of the jokes, tired of the assumptions, tired of pretending. Maybe, just maybe, he was trying to reclaim his narrative. No longer Ryan's sidekick, no longer the affable straight man in someone else's comedy bit. And if Jackman leaked those texts, maybe it wasn't revenge. Maybe it was
happening. It's still happening. It's still going on. Ryan's kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromances is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because
truth. The fallout wasn't limited to Reynolds and Jackman. Blake, caught in the crossfire, tried to shield her children, her career, and her carefully curated public image. But the toll was visible. Her team argued emotional trauma, insomnia, anxiety. Her appearances grew rarer. Her smiles less frequent. At the Saturday Night Live anniversary special, she and Ryan posed for photos, but something was off. Body language. Distance. That spark, the one that fans had always adored, was gone. And still the story kept evolving. More leaks. More theories. More videos dissecting every syllable Reynolds had ever uttered in public. Hollywood thrives on reinvention. Loves a comeback. But for that to happen, there has to be a fall. And Ryan Reynolds, once the untouchable golden boy, was falling fast. Not because he kissed a co-star or made a bad joke, but because the man behind the smile, the quip, the viral tweet, was no longer believable. The masks were cracking, and the world was watching.